Hey YouTubers, welcome back to the hauler. Mike again with Hills and Haulers Homestead and Mud Factory Extraordinaire, because this is a mess. I've already made the decision that this will not be a winter pen next year. This will not be a sacrifice area just because it's so bad. I mean, it is just, and it's not just this area, it's everywhere. Everything is just mud. So what I'm going to do for next year is right over here, just at this corner. Here, I'm backwards here. So from this corner here is I'm going to actually build a building about a 12 by 12. It's going to have a solid floor in it, and it'll be just a single slope roof, and the pigs will come in just right here at the corner, and that'll be their shelter with their food and their water right there, and all of the rest of this goes away. So they will have access only into the woods, into the shelter, food, water, and that's it. That way I'm not losing this much area, and I'm not getting near the mud that we've got going on now, because this is just, I've never seen a winter like this before. And they're even calling for this pretty much. Would you shut up? Worse than a kid. They're calling for this. I'm going to throw something at you. You know that? They're calling for this straight through February. Well, you had to do it, didn't you? I hate roosters. Unfortunately, they're... I bet you won't do that if I come in there, will you? They're calling for this straight through February. We're probably going to have a little bit of, now the other ones start. We're probably going to have a little bit of 20, 30 degree weather type of stuff. Maybe a little bit of, let me get away from the roosters here before I decide I'm going to have chicken for dinner again. Buttholes. I'm telling you, they're buttholes. So, you know, we're probably going to end up with some freezes and a little bit of snow, but for the most part, the majority of the weather's 40s and 50s. So, and rain, of course. So, we're going to be recovering from mud well into the summer, I'm sure. And of course, we got what they call that atmospheric river hitting out there on the west coast, and it's just bringing it right across the country as well. Boris got sick. I don't know what he got into or what happened to him, but he ended up with a bunch of diarrhea, just kind of laying around, not a lot of energy, wasn't, you know, as happy to see me as he normally was. I know I can be a pain in the butt sometimes, but hey. So he was drinking, but he wasn't eating a whole lot. So I started giving him some charcoal, and he's been eating that up. And this is the most he's eaten in about 3 days. And charcoal for pigs is pretty much your first and foremost thing that you go for when you think it's a gastrointestinal issue, because they are monogastric like us. They have one simple stomach and a simple digestive system. And charcoal, and there's a piece of charcoal right there, when they eat it, it binds to the stuff in their stomach and helps them pass it without absorbing it. So if it was like a virus or a bacteria or something that was causing the problems, the charcoal helps bind it. And he was eating it up. He knew what he needed. And then because this is full of water, I was putting about a half a bowl of water out for him and putting apple cider vinegar with the mother in it. And he's, like I said, this is the most he's eaten in about 3 days. He was a lot more energetic today, more happy to see me again. And I realized something when every time I come out here, that his little hut was moved all the time. He can't fit in it anymore. He's too tall to fit in the door. So I just did just a temporary shelter here for him, and threw a bunch of straw underneath there to keep him good and dry and out of the weather. And so that'll be just a temporary fix for now. Pee-wee's coming out more. He's more cautious now than fearful. So he's been coming out and getting real, you know, closer to me. He won't let me pet him yet, but Boris comes over and lets me scratch him and pet him and everything in front of him, and Pee-wee kind of stands there and, hey, you know, maybe this isn't such a bad idea. But because Boris just had all the diarrhea and stuff like that, I don't want to put them two together yet. I think they would do absolutely fine together, because they spend a lot of time right there at the fence together, and there's no aggression from either one of them. So I give it about 10 more days, make sure everything is cleared up with him, and then I'll just pull that center gate or that center panel out of there and let him go. Let them go together. And I got the T-post gate hangers last night, so I'll be coming out here and putting the gate up for that here soon, and then hopefully stringing a wire within the next week or even this weekend, depending on how the weather is. how the weather is how the weather is. I walked out here a while ago, and here's some craziness. Here we are, January. I mean, I'm in a t-shirt and a flannel shirt, comfortable. Look at the green grass sprouting up. And this is a heavy area here. It's just a waste area pretty much, because it's all briars and everything. But where the pigs have worked that so well, the grass is green. Look at that, it's turning green and coming up in there. Good sign, because that's what I want the pigs to do, is to come in here and open this up and regenerate that. Because, you know, like I said before, there's an ancient seed bank here, you know, of native species and stuff like that, that if you can usually get the invasive species out, that native seed bank will sprout, germinate, and come back. But it's January. We shouldn't be seeing that kind of stuff now. And not that I'm complaining about the warm weather, but we need a good freeze. We need a good long cold spell. It's not only good for the ground, but it helps kind of mitigate a lot of the species of, you know, nuisance insects. So mosquitoes, flies, and stuff like that, if we have a good cold spell. And we're going to do. And they're calling, like I said, they're calling for this all the way through February, with a few cold snaps here and there, but not enough to do anything for us, and maybe just a little bit of snow. But it's going to be an interesting spring and summer, that's for sure. But thank goodness he's okay, because that's my buddy. And Pee-wee's coming along. The monsters over here, they're doing all right. I talked to the butcher. Hopefully we can get the barrows, the big boys over here into freezer camp, Kenmore camp, Frigidaire camp, whatever. I mean, within the next couple weeks. It's just not going to be able to schedule anything based on weather. And that's what I told him. I said, we're just going to have to take the mud and deal with it. And he said, yeah, he said, we're pretty much stuck with that at this point. But everything else seems to be going okay. I hope to be able to get that gate in. And like I said, get this fenced in up here. Get the pigs up here. Get the Boris and Pee-wee up here soon. And that's actually going to cut back on feed costs, because they have a lot of stuff to eat up there. And even though we're in January, there's still a lot of stuff for them to root up and eat and everything like that. So that'll cut back on my feed consumption for them. And once I get rid of the big pigs over here, that'll definitely save us on some feed. So, because I've increased the feed. So where I was given 2 scoops per feeder, I'm giving 3 scoops per feeder. And I'm giving, Pee-wee's got free food, so he's got free run of all the food. And Boris, I'm giving him 2 scoops of feed now to get him bulked up and big enough. So I want to definitely avoid this next year. There's already plans for the middle field, like I'd said, but this has got to end, because look at this. It's just crazy. And you know, pigs, again, they do the work that you need them to do, but wow. So this is definitely going to be in desperate need of a good reseeding, and it'll green up. There's no question in my mind it'll green up real good. But I thought they would actually spread them hay bales out. They haven't touched them, so I'll be getting in there maybe sometime soon here and spreading those hay bales out for them a little bit. But this monster here, he's he's still a kind of gentle feller, aren't you? Aren't you? Oh, hi, Coke. But he'll be going soon anyways, and so will the other one. And then maybe in the spring we'll get some breeding going on, and we'll get some more piggies, and we'll just go from there. Castrating pigs, that's something I have to learn how to do, because well, I'm not going to pay a vet to come out here to do it, and I'm not going to transport pigs to a vet's office and pay all that. So I'm going to have to find somebody to learn from to castrate pigs. It can't be a terribly difficult thing, but it's not something I want to just, oh sure, I can do this and hurt a pig. But if we're going to have pigs and piglets and raise them and sell them and stuff like that, we're going to have to know how to castrate them. So I got my work cut out for me on that. Anyways, we're good to go. We're just so tired of it. Get prepared, stay prepared, take care, God bless.